My side, Zaka Jacob joins you next.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. The opening of the new Parliament building is fast turning into a political spectacle. What should have been a moment of national pride is now turning into a political football between the government and the opposition. More than 20 opposition parties have boycotted the event because they feel the president should rightfully be inaugurating it. In fact, there's also now a petition before the Supreme Court asking for a correction, asking that the president inaugurate the Parliament building and not the Prime Minister. The NDA is not taking things lying low either. The NDA says more than 20 like-minded parties are attending the ceremony and that the Prime Minister, as the head of the government, the head of a democratically elected government, is the right person to be inaugurating a building that's going to last for another 100, 200, maybe even 300 years. The question is, this is a Parliament building not just for the ruling party, not just for the current Prime Minister, not just for the current dispensation. This is a Parliament for all of India, for democracy. Why is the opposition boycotting it? Why can't a middle ground be found? And what may that middle ground be? Because to find that middle ground, the government will have to walk the extra mile.
चाहे पक्ष सत्ता का हो, चाहे पक्ष विपक्ष का हो, सबके सब मिलजुल करके भारतीय समुदाय के इस कार्यक्रम में उतने ही उमंग और उत्साह के साथ शरीक हुए थे.
Leaders belonging to these very same opposition parties spoke ill of her, abused her, and today suddenly they become morally motivated.
Because of the arrogant nature of this government, they are not ready to do that. They are insulting the president, they are insulting the women of the country, they are insulting the tribals of this country.
ये सिंबल कहाँ से आ गया? ये सिंबल तो एक धार्मिक मान्यता का प्रतीक है. तो भारत हमारा कोई धार्मिक देश तो है नहीं. तो ये सीधे सीधे बुद्ध धर्म से जुड़े हुए अशोक चिन्ह हमारी भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार को बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रहा.
सदभवन के उद्घाटन समारोह में ये नहीं चाहिए, इसलिए कि इतिहास को बदलने का प्रयास होगा.
हमने पहले ही कहा कि हम इससे दूर रहेंगे, हम उस पर शिरकत नहीं करेंगे. मामला उसूलों का है, मामला मर्यादा का है, सम्मान का है.
All right, let me now open this up to our panelists. We've got a bunch of members of parliament joining us from different political parties across the political spectrum joining us just days before the inauguration of the new parliament building. GVL Narasimha Rao is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament and spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Shantanu Sen, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the TMC. Amar Patnaik is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the BJD. And Dr. Ajay Kumar, National Spokesperson of the Congress, will also be joining us in a moment. GVL Narasimha Rao, the opposition is saying it's not just one or two, 20 opposition parties from the Congress downwards are boycotting this, saying that this is an insult to the first tribal woman president of India, that she's not being invited. She's not the one who is doing the inauguration. It's the Prime Minister. There's even a petition that's been filed in the Supreme Court. It's going to come up tomorrow. The petition basically asking for that same plea, that the president be the one who does this inauguration. So your response, the onus now is on the government to try and find a middle ground.
No, Zaka, I think it is the intolerance of the opposition which cannot accept the success of Prime Minister, his rising stature as a global leader, and repeated victories of the BJP under his leadership to Lok Sabha in 2014 and 2019. And it is their at one level, it is their arrogance, and it is their mindset, which clearly is not in tune with the people of this country. is not in tune with the rising India, with the young people of New India, and they are putting politics over politics and pettiness over participation in the inauguration of India's parliament. I think this is nothing but no amount of cajoling would have helped, because the Congress party believes that it is its birthright and it is only the members of the Gandhi Nehru family who should inaugurate everything, and everything should be named, every scheme should be named after them. It is their mindset of the Congress party and a slavish mentality of many political parties which actually have acted as props of the Congress party in the past.
Okay, so let me ask Dr. Ajay Kumar of the Congress party. You know, there are instances from the past of Indira Gandhi when she was Prime Minister inaugurating the Parliament Annexi building, Rajiv Gandhi when he was Prime Minister inaugurating the Parliament Library building. You have instances when the UPA was in power of Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh attending and inaugurating the new Tamil Nadu Assembly Complex, of Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister inaugurating the new Manipur Assembly Complex. If it was kosher when the Congress was in power for Congress Prime Ministers to be inaugurating Parliament buildings as well as assembly complexes, why can't the current Prime Minister do that? After all, he is the head of a democratically elected government. He is the head of government.
So, Jaka, before that, my good friend Narasimha Rao Saab said that, global leader and whatnot things. I mean, it's like the self-declared Vishwa Gurus. If there was a Quad meeting which got cancelled, everybody else didn't go, but our Honorable Prime Minister went and couldn't find a time to go to Manipur. Second issue is, I don't understand what is New India. Karnataka is also part of New India, so is Himachal, so is Bengal, so is Delhi, so is Rajasthan. And if you think you're the only person who's got elected because you won 2 national elections and you're saying that you are a New India, I mean, isn't it pretentious that if Congress had said something so pretentious, it would have been, it would have been absolutely in bad taste. The third part is, they keep dragging the Gandhis every time into this. We have a president, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who has won the election 11 times. They seem to have no respect for the democratic process, and they keep saying about democracy. Now, coming to this Manipur and the other issue, Tamil Nadu. The inauguration is because if my constitution is correct, the Prime Minister was invited by the state government and he's above the governor in terms of precedence. But there is something very interesting happening here today, and Narasimha Rao Saab must educate me. He's from the Rajya Sabha. The head of the Rajya Sabha is the Vice President. So the Lok Sabha Speaker is one wing of the Parliament, the other wing is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Prime Minister doesn't want the Vice President and President to come, because if they come, then they have to inaugurate, because the Vice President is also above the Prime Minister, which is too much of an ego, because I keep looking at our Prime Minister,
As far as the information that we have, like Dr. Kumar, one second, just to clarify on that, the information that we have is, I believe that the Vice President has been invited. Now, GVL, if you have any other information you can share on the program.
I would like, first of all, this is the plaque. This is the plaque of inauguration of Chhattisgarh Assembly, a new building of Chhattisgarh Assembly, and it mentions among the dignitaries who have done this Bhumi Pujan Karyakram, Sonia Gandhi on the top of the plaque, MP. Then comes Rahul Gandhi, Member of Parliament. Then at the bottom comes the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, who is a Congress Chief Minister. So if you were so particular about, so is this the protocol? Does the chairperson or a president of the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi, do they take precedence over a democratically elected Chief Minister? And where was governor? Where was governor invited for this particular function for the inauguration of a Chhattisgarh building? So that's one counter Congress party should tell us. Was this a proper protocol that was followed? Same thing was done in Manipur along with Prime Minister.
No, but GVL, the point that Dr. Ajay Kumar raised about the Vice President.
Yes, I'll come to that. see, what technically, a lot of the Congress leaders either unknowingly or deliberately are hiding one particular information, or they're possibly not aware of it. Lok Sabha Speaker is the custodian of entire parliament premises. It is which contains Lok Sabha chamber, which contains Rajya Sabha chamber, of which Vice President is the chairman, and all other buildings. He is the custodian of the entire parliament premises, and that is the reason why Lok Sabha Speaker invited the Honorable Prime Minister to inaugurate. It is he who has the authority to invite.
Okay.
And he has invited the Prime Minister as the leader of the country, as a people elected chief Prime Minister.
Okay, Dr. Ajay Kumar, quick response, after which I need to go to Dr. Shantanu Sen as well as Mr. Amar Patnaik. Dr. Ajay Kumar, quick response.
So my question is, they keep saying that the parliament inauguration, then they say premises. I have a disconnect with what Mr. Narasimha Rao says. The first question is, when there was an attack on the parliament, the Parliament of India was attacked by terrorists during Vajpayee's time. It was an attack on the parliament. It wasn't an attack on the building. So they want to now say that the building is the premises, so you can inaugurate any building. Then you say you want to inaugurate a building and it is not parliament. So it is so specious. The fact is that the vice president cannot be invited, because if he gets invited, then by precedence he has to be above. And if they don't, so if the vice president is there, so the Rajya Sabha's chairman is not being invited because Modi ji wants to do the inauguration. Now it is perfectly okay. So you say, look, we don't believe in proprietary. I'm absolutely okay with it, and I respect your gumption.
Let me go to Dr. Shantanu Sen. Okay, let me go to Dr. Shantanu Sen. Dr. Shantanu Sen, is this an issue that tomorrow a petition is coming up in the Supreme Court asking the Supreme Court, to take corrective remedial action? First of all, I don't know what business the court has in deciding who's going to be invited and who's not going to be invited for a parliament function, for the inauguration of a new parliament building. Now, is the opposition going to use every opportunity where they have political differences, admittedly, with this government to boycott functions which, like I said, this parliament building is going to far outlast every single parliamentarian in India right now? It is going to outlast Mr. Modi. It's going to outlast this current government. Tomorrow, maybe your government will come to power. You will still have to do business in the same parliament building. Why are you going to the extent of boycotting what should have been a moment of national pride, and this whole business of getting courts involved? What job does the court have deciding who should be invited and who should not be invited for a Sarkari function?
Before I answer your question, let me give you kindly allow me few seconds to answer my BJP representative who was talking about the success of Narendra Modi. Yes, of course, there is a huge success of Mr. Narendra Modi. India is facing highest unemployment in the last 45 years. People of the country at large, they are not having their food, they are not having their shelter, they are becoming jobless, they are becoming homeless, skyrocketing inflation. Definitely huge success. Dead bodies are floating on river during COVID. Mass cremation on the bank of the river. Huge success of Mr. Narendra Modi. Now let me answer your question. First you reply why you are talking about boycotting. Why BJP is boycotting the first lady of the country who happens to be a tribal. Am I audible?
Yeah, go on. We can hear you. Yeah,
Am I audible?
Yes, we can, yeah. Yes, Dr. Sen, I can hear you. Go on. Go ahead. Dr. Sen, I can hear you very well. I don't think he can hear me. All right, let me go to Mr. Amar Patnaik. Mr. Amar Patnaik, you are one of the few parties which is not in government who has decided to attend this parliament function. Is it also partly because you want to show solidarity with the government and that this is a function that perhaps transcends politics? Or because the rest of the opposition is saying that it's not protocol, it's the president who's the person who should be doing the inauguration, it's the president who's the one who has the authority to call for a joint session, and this is a joint parliament complex that is being inaugurated, both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha chambers. Therefore, it's only her who should have been rightfully asked to do the inauguration. Why is your party not in consonance with the rest of the opposition and you've decided to attend the function on Sunday?
See, there are a couple of points that I'd like to make. First of all, the president is the head of this country, head of the Republic of India. The parliament represents 1.4 billion people of our country. So both these are institutions of democracy which should be placed at a pedestal much above the politics of parties. And therefore, this is the time when these temples of democracy, this is a momentous occasion, this is to be celebrated. And this is not a time to show opposition unity. It is actually a time to show national unity. And I think that's what we should have been, the message that we have to give to the world. And whatever issues are there, that could be discussed in the parliament. And that's the stand that our party has taken, that these are issues which should probably, as you said, transcend religion. And then second point, which is equally important, is the fact that, as you said very correctly, that the functioning of the parliament would outlast most of us. Most of parliamentarians, most of the parties, and therefore this is something which is a symbol of democracy. And politics should not be really brought into this at this stage to express opposition unity or something else. The most important thing is to show that this is a symbol of democracy that we have established, that we are making it operational, and it has nothing to do with really the building or who is going to inaugurate it.
Okay, so Dr. Sen is back on the line. Dr. Sen, again, you know, if you're going to boycott the inauguration because you believe protocol was not followed, you're against the fact that the Prime Minister is taking all the limelight for this inauguration, then you should extend the boycott for the rest of this Lok Sabha term also, right? You should say that we will not operate from this new building. Why restrict the boycott just to the inauguration of this building?
Yeah, my reply to Mr. Amar Pattanayak, my good friend, he was talking about the parliament discussion in parliament. Does he believe that this government really allows the opposition to discuss on the floor of the parliament? Being a member of the Rajya Sabha, he has witnessed so many disruptions caused by the ruling party. This party doesn't allow the opposition party to speak out on the floor of the parliament, and he is talking about parliamentary discussion. Now, BJP is boycotting the first lady, rather the first citizen of the country who happens to be a tribal, who happens to be a part of the parliament as per Indian Constitution Article number 79. The fact is, nowadays PM doesn't stand for Prime Minister. Nowadays PM stands for publicity master, who gets a stadium inaugurated in his name by the hand of President, who gets a medical college inaugurated in his name on his birthday, and so on and so many. So now PM doesn't stand for Prime Minister, he stands for publicity.
Sir, but you're not answering
you're
not answering my question. I had a simple question to you. This parliament building is going to stand for the next 100, 200, maybe 300 years, right? Why are you boycotting the inauguration of this building just because the person who is inaugurating it you don't like or you're opposed to politically?
Because I am answering your question. Because it's a united protest of all the opposition. If we boycott the entire Parliament House for the rest of our life, then where do we go? Where do we go? If we boycott the entire Parliament, this new building for the rest of our life, then where do we go?
No. So then let's be clear, right, Dr. Sen? Let's be clear.
It should have been done in the month of November.
Let's be clear.
One second.
Okay, no. That's a matter of, you know, when it was done.
1 second, please.
Sir, give me 10 seconds.
You are not allowing me to speak out.
No, I am. I'm asking for a clarification from you. You know, the details of should it have been inaugurated today, you know, the rush for the Savarkar Jayanti, or should it have waited for November, because anyway the session is going to happen only in November from the new building. All of those are matters of detail. But on principle, you are clarifying to our viewers tonight that your opposition to the inauguration of this building is because of the person who is inaugurating this building. That's your opposition.
Because of the parliamentary democracy, because it is violating the President said is violating the parliamentary democracy, and we believe it should have been done in the month of November, when in true sense we will be completing the 75th year of our Indian Constitution. So he has not only dishonored our President of the country, He has ruined the basic parliamentary democracy, the basic essence of Indian constitution, and he has murdered the parliamentary democracy as a whole.
So let me ask GVL Narasimha Rao, what was the pressing hurry? The opposition is saying anyway the first session in this new parliament building will be the winter session, which happens in November. What was the pressing hurry to inaugurate it in May, after which the monsoon session will be from the old complex? The new complex will be functional only from the winter session. So why this hurry?
No, what is the problem about the timing? Why should it not happen now when the building is almost ready? The government feels it's the appropriate time before the next Independence Day. I think it is fitting for us to inaugurate it before we usher in the new year, post Independence Day. So certainly the timing is perfect. Secondly, the opposition is only looking for excuses. The TMC members' pick only shows their frustration, their inability to fathom how Prime Minister has acquired such a great stature at the international level. People who have seen him address the meeting, the diaspora meeting in Australia, and people who have seen him being received with the greatest of admiration in international fora, I think is all something that the opposition cannot really stomach. Leaders of the TMC do not simply measure up. They don't have the stature. And that is what picks them. And I would like to ask Rashtrapati, we have fielded the first time Adivasi Mahila as the Rashtrapati, a tribal woman. Will Trinamool Congress today apologize to the people of this country for opposing her? You supported Yashwant Sinha against Mamata Banerjee. Will Mamata Banerjee, will she apologize to the country, to the tribals of this country for opposing her? Will Trinamool Congress apologize to the
Dr. Shantanu Sen, quick response, and then I want to go to Dr. Ajay Kumar after that. Dr. Shantanu Sen, if you were so worried about the first tribal woman president being insulted, why didn't you back her candidature?
I have heard it. I will take 10 seconds to reply his two questions. Number one, it is the ultimate frustration of my dear friend from BJP because they have lost the entire political ground in the entire South India. So he is utterly frustrated. And number two, yes, once again it is an example how BJP ruins the cooperative federalism. They never declared the name of the Rashtrapati candidate before. Our leader, Madam Mamata Banerjee, has categorically said if they would have declared the name of Draupadi Murmu ji much before, then we might not have put a separate candidate. But they hardly bother about the parliamentary democracy as well as cooperative federalism. That's why they didn't disclose the name of the candidate beforehand.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Ajay Kumar. You have taken umbrage at the fact that the First Lady has been insulted, the First Citizen has been insulted. She should have been the one who was inaugurating. It couldn't be more insulting than what Rajiv Gandhi did to Gyani Zail Singh when he was president. Indira Gandhi and Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed's differences have been well documented. So the Congress does not exactly have a stellar record when it comes to how to treat Rashtrapatis. Yeah?
So the first question is, I was listening to Narasimha Rao Saab's statement. Did they vote against Mr. K.R. Narayanan? Did the BJP vote? They were anti-schedule caste? Did they vote against when Meera Kumari ji also, when as a speaker, did they support Meera Kumar as a speaker that was against schedule caste? The problem is when you come in, when you start putting up as if Draupadi, the tribals candidate means all the tribals are, all the people from the scheduled tribes are ours. If you put up they removed a tribal chief minister in Jharkhand and put up a non-tribal chief minister the first time. So are they anti-tribals? So this kind of specious arguments, honestly speaking, Narasimha Rao Saab, not expected from you. But anyway, let's move on that. Because you vote based on your party basis, whoever stands from you, irrespective of whichever you put. And I won't make that allegation on you against the Bharatiya Janata Party, because that's how the candidates support. The second issue is, in Australia, mein danka baj raha hai. See, Zaka, no TV channel seems to be doing a program on Manipur. We don't ask this so-called world famous Prime Minister of our Prime Minister. Doesn't go. He goes to Vande Bharat inauguration, but doesn't go to Manipur. He does this function in Australia. Manipur is burning. 54,000 people have been displaced. 100 plus people have been dead. Nobody. They used to go before election. So my question is, what are we talking about world popular? There was a Quad function which all three heads of state, two heads of state, Japan and America said no, they can't come. They got important issues. Quad got cancelled, Prime Minister went. How much money you spent on this? Australian government was spending it for the town hall meeting. Australian government was spending, it wasn't. It was your people who were the BJP, overseas BJP support group was organizing a function. So it's become a joke. You organize it, you want to spend money and more power to you. But don't mistake this as world popularity. Mr. Trump came to India, Abki Baar Trump Sarkar filled up the stadium, he went back and lost the election. So either we got, I know you're an intelligent man, Narasimha Rao Saab, so I'm very sure that, you don't want to insult our intelligence. So abroad, globally popular, you want to ask in a German, what does he think about Mr. Modi? What does the Japanese feel about Mr. Modi? He doesn't care. The people who care, and we don't care about their leaders also. If you ask me about what do you feel about Biden? Biden may be the president, but he's not I'm not bothered about him. The question is very simple. That whether it is not a question, the question is who heads the both houses of the parliament.
Okay.
And for us, the issue is that the president, by this Article 79, and they're legal people, Narasimha Rao Saab, if I remember, is also a lawyer. The president would have been the most appropriate person. And what I can't wrap my head around is, you didn't invite the president, you didn't even invite the vice president because he can't come. I'm telling you, he can't come because if he comes, then he has to inaugurate it because he's above the president. So let's not pretend that it is a great job done, it is a building.
GVL and then Amar Patnaik, after which I'm closing.
One second, last second, Narasimha Rao Saab, only 5 seconds, I'll just finish in 5 seconds, if I have your permission.
Go ahead.
Otherwise I can stop.
No, go ahead, 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay, thank you guys. The issue is that the Prime Minister wants to inaugurate it in May, and then the parliament session of the monsoon happens in the old building. And we can decide when we want to inaugurate. I mean, yeah, it's seriously, pretty strange for me.
Okay.
And
all right.
like my colleague.
So GVL Narasimha Rao and then Amar Patnaik, after which I'm closing. I'm also getting a piece of breaking news after that. Yeah, GVL Narasimha Rao to respond.
You see, I don't expect, obviously, Dr. Ajay, a very senior politician and a senior police officer, he has his limitations. He can't accept the popularity of the Prime Minister, but the whole world accepts it. And Biden, whether you or I consider him a great leader or not, whole world considers President of the United States as the most powerful political leader on the planet. I think our party's opinions really don't matter there. And as far as the parliament etiquette is concerned and parliamentary protocol is concerned, I think let me also tell you, he's not a nominated Prime Minister. Dr. Shri Narendra Modi ji, unlike Dr. Manmohan Singh, with all respects to him, he was a nominated Prime Minister. And therefore, he was relegated. He was dictated to by the Congress party leader. Sonia Gandhi became the super Prime Minister. And she became super chief minister because she inaugurated an assembly building in Chhattisgarh with chief minister only playing the second fiddle. So Prime Minister Modi ji stands in a different league of his own. He is a global leader, whether you like it or not. He is the undisputed leader of this country. People elected chief prime minister. And he has all the authority and not only all the constitutional authority, but also he has all the moral authority to inaugurate
Amar
this building.
Patnaik, I'll give you the final word. When this function happens on Sunday and the pictures of, effectively you are having only representatives from the treasury benches coming for that function. That's not a good look.
No, so we would be there. We do not belong to the treasury benches or with the opposition. We have an independent position, has been clarified by our chief minister several times in the past. And as I said, and as I was just listening to the discussions, we have to transcend this politics coming to the fore. We have to transcend politics, and we have to also think about the fact that the whole world is watching us. And it's not a question of showing opposition unity on a particular issue. It's a question of showing national unity, celebrating a democracy represented by the president and the parliament. If you have to discuss anything, just go and discuss in the parliament. To the question which Dr. Shantanu Sen said about disruptions, I think disruptions have been the order of the various sessions by both the Treasury benches as well as the opposition, largely the opposition. So therefore, just to pin it on the Treasury benches is probably not fair.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it at that. And I'll paraphrase what Mr. Amar Patnaik was saying. I don't think this is a moment for... There will be moments for opposition unity, and there needs to be moments for opposition unity in the run-up to 2024, but not this. This is a moment that called for national unity, and unfortunately, those pictures, when we get it on Sunday, of just having effectively just people from the Treasury benches at the inauguration of a new Parliament building, which, like I've been saying, will far outlast a government or a political party or a Prime Minister, that the opposition boycotting is absolutely sad and frankly just uncalled for. I think there's a need to transcend political binaries at this moment of national pride. But we'll move on to this piece of breaking news that's coming in from 10 Downing Street. There's been a car crash at the main gates of 10 Downing Street. One person, we're given to understand, has been arrested. No injuries have been reported. We don't know what was the status of the person who was driving the car. Was he in a normal state of mind? Was he intoxicated or in any form or fashion? He's been arrested is what we know. These are the latest pictures that we're getting. You can see the police there cordoning off a portion of the area, the walkway in front of 10 Downing. Sanjay Suri has more details on this. Sanjay, what more information do we have? When did this happen? How did this car crash happen?
Well, this is something that happened just minutes back, and we await further detail. But what is very clear is from the police report so far that one person has been arrested, and rather reassuringly, we hear that no one is injured. Routinely, a very large number of people stand outside the gates of Downing Street to watch the Prime Minister come and go, get themselves photographed and whatnot. And if a car has abruptly turned in from Whitehall towards the gates of Downing Street, there would be a very serious danger to a number of people present there at any given time. We do hear there are no injuries, but we do await also further details. It is also clear that this was a quite senseless move. The entrance to Downing Street itself is very strongly guarded. You have a fence as a first line of defense. Then we have bollocks that are telescopic bollards that can be put up. Then we have very heavy iron gates. Then we have a ring of security personnel on duty there. There's a further a line of telescopic bollards. So this is now going to be 5 or 6 lines of defense before anyone can get into Downing Street. And we know that there has been an attack on Parliament where one policeman was killed in an attack where somebody crashed a car into the building. Since then, the police have really stepped up security. This move was not going to get anywhere. A desperate move, it would appear also, most certainly a crazed move, while we await further details about the state of the person who carried out this attempt to break into Downing Street.
You did also say that there are layers of security, layers of barricades before one can get to the front door of 10 Downing. Do we know how far this person who was driving this car managed to get in? And also, do we know any details? Is the Metropolitan Police putting out any details of who this individual is and what state of mind he was in when this car crash happened? Do we have any idea of what his motivations were?
Well, on the first issue, he clearly did not get in very far, clearly did not get in past the gates at all. It would have been impossible to do so. And it is almost at the entrance to Downing Street. Never mind the entrance to 10 Downing Street, which is further down, a couple of 100 yards or 150 yards down from the entrance of Downing Street to 10 Downing Street. Clearly didn't get that far, didn't get even to enter Downing Street because that's where you have very effective barricades. Clearly, this person has carried out a desperate act. It was certainly not guided by any realistic sense of what the person could achieve, and we have no information what this person was trying to achieve. Seems to have been a desperate form of protest, but we do await further details from the police on this.
All right, Sanjay, we'll leave it at that. Like he said, we would like to know who this person was, what his motivations were, what his state of mind was, whether he was inebriated in any form or fashion, or was he of sound mind at that time, and of course, like I said, what his intentions were, because like Sanjay was saying, it would be a very foolhardy move to try and crash into the barricades outside Downing Street, getting to the Prime Minister's residence, which is 10 Downing, which is a few hundred yards away from the start of the street, would have been unthinkable. But be that as it may, Sanjay, we'll be in touch with you if there are any further details on this car crash that's happened outside Downing Street. Meanwhile, let's shift focus to the other big story that we're tracking. After Amul versus Nandini in Karnataka, it's now Amul versus Arvind in the state of Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written a letter to Home Minister Amit Shah seeking his intervention to stop Amul from procuring milk from Arvind's milk shed area. Now, Stalin has termed the Gujarat-based dairy cooperatives' move as unfortunate and alleged that Amul will create unhealthy competition between cooperatives. The Congress too has waded into this row. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh has alleged that the move is part of the BJP's anti-opposition game plan, citing the controversy that happened over Amul's entry in Karnataka. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai has taken on the Stalin government, accusing it of mismanaging the state's milk cooperatives. Annamalai says that only 14% of milk procurements in Tamil Nadu are done by Arvind, adding that the government is ignoring its financial health and instead focusing on theatrics. It begs the question, is politics being put above the welfare of dairy farmers?
We say that if Amul wants to procure milk from Tamil Nadu, it will affect Arvind. That is what we say. What is wrong in it?
All right, joining us on this talking point, Vinod Selvam is spokesperson of the BJP in Tamil Nadu, A. Saravanan, spokesperson of the DMK, Sumansi Raman, political analyst, joining us. Saravanan, let me start with you first. Because, you know, this whole contention that allowing another milk cooperative from another state is going to kill Arvind, just like in the case of Nandini, is kind of, it doesn't add up to logical sense, because, you know, the more competition you have, the better prices farmers will be able to get, dairy farmers will be able to get, and the more competition you have, better prices consumers will be able to get.
Yeah, I wish it is as simple as that, Zaka, but it isn't. See, Arvind from 1981 has been nurturing these dairy farmers, and they have been instrumental in their growth. We have been able to provide them with the infrastructure. We have been able to give them a sense of security that the milk will be procured, whatever may be the reason, rain or shine, that will happen. This is the thing that is the bedrock on which Arvind has been formed, and that is going on. Our objection to Amul coming in here is only this. It is a state cooperative society, probably a multi-state cooperative society, and Arvind again is a state cooperative society. Can we pit one state against the other? We saw what happened in Karnataka, and with the disastrous consequences, BJP, the people of Karnataka thought BJP a lesson. Now they want to do that here again. The only objection is this. Nobody has any objections. Nobody can have any objections when Amul is selling its products here. We enjoy the occasional Amul ice cream and all that. But the only caveat is this. We don't want you to take milk, procure milk from the same milk shed area, because we have nourished them, we have nurtured them. You are saying that we will offer a rupee or two extra now. But what will be the guarantee that this will continue? Just a moment. This will continue.
Saranan, there are two parts to this. One, the amount of milk that Arvind procures from entire dairy farmers in Tamil Nadu is only about 14-15%. The rest of the 80-85% is procured by other private players. Now, those other private players are not offering how much Arvind is offering or what Amul is offering to those dairy farmers. So, for those remaining 85%, you don't have a problem.
See, that's what, Zaka, that's what this is. If it is a private player, we know how to handle them. The only question is this. In a federal structure, can one state's cooperative society be pitted against the other? Why the sudden push for Amul? So long it wasn't there. Why the sudden push? Because is the BJP so obsessed with this oneness concept? They want one milk, one nation. The entire country to have only the milk procured from Avin. Is that Amul? Is that the reason why they want to push this?
Okay, Vinod Selvam,
Why
respond. You know what the contention that was made in the Karnataka case, also Nandini, in the case of Avin, is also that Amul is obviously a much bigger player than any of these state cooperatives are. It's a multi-state cooperative. It's the biggest milk cooperative in the country. And this is the rule of simple economics. When there is competition, the big fish eat up the small fish. And that's the fear that the DMK is elucidating.
See, as a person hailing from Tamil Nadu, I really wish that Avin is able to procure, so Avin is able to be the #1 player in India. Just give me a minute, no? My voice is echoing.
Yeah, go ahead. You can take off your EP and go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I really wish that Avin is able to overtake any other milk producing state or any agency which is selling milk. But unfortunately, ever since 1980, ever since Avin was introduced, they have not made any technological advancements. Today, Amul is willing to offer more money to the farmers. So today, what is more important is the benefit of the farmers. The farmers need to get more. And Amul is going to be promising that. Now, what is the problem for DMK in that? So DMK is clearly anti-farmer, anti-agriculturist, anti-people who are herding this cattle and procure and producing milk. The worst part is, till date, even after the country has gone through so much digitalization since 2014, Amul pays the farmers directly into their Jandan account. Every week, money is put directly into their accounts and milk is being procured. But on the other hand, what does Avin do? Avin procures milk through middlemen, through agents. So even the 32 odd rupees you're giving them does not reach them in full. It depends on the percentage the agents in between take, and only a small portion of that money even goes and reaches the agricultural farmers. Okay. So Avin has done no upgradation, nothing for the interest of the farmers, and Mr. Saravanan needs to remind himself that though the milk prices were increased, the price of curd was increased, the price of butter was increased, and the BJP was continuously opposing the corruption which the ex-minister of dairies in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Avadi Nasser, was doing, and that is why he was shunted out.
Okay.
Only after 2 years.
Let me go to
MK
Sumant
Stalin
Raman.
realized.
One second. Let me go to Sumant Raman. Sumant, you know, this was a disingenuous argument that was put forth even when the Nandini versus Amul fight was going on in Karnataka. Yeah. And the disingenuous part of it is that Nandini milk was selling at least 5 to 6 rupees cheaper than Amul. And cost-conscious market like India, cost-conscious Indians are not going to spend 5-6 rupees extra for a litre of milk unless there's something dramatically earth-shattering about the quality of that milk. It's milk at the end of the day. Why would they, for an everyday product, end up spending 5-6 rupees more per litre?
Okay, Zaka, first of all, we have to understand the way Avin has been run into the ground by successive governments. I won't blame only the DMK government or the AIADMK government. Whichever government has been in power, Avin has been run into the ground. Some months ago, there was even a strike by some of the by the dairy farmers. There was disruption in milk supply to many parts of the state. Then subsequently, I think that they worked out some kind of patchwork compromise. But the point is, there is a very flourishing private sector in Tamil Nadu. Including some manufacturers who do have ties to political parties. So let's be very clear on this. This opposition to Amul. Now, if they said, look, we are opposed, these private players are actually paying much higher rates to farmers for procurement. In fact, it is significantly higher. Their selling rates are also higher. And yet they have a sizable market share in Tamil Nadu, whereas Avin, which is procuring at a lower rate, which is selling at a lower rate, is not able to make much of an impression. That itself tells you the mismanagement, the rampant mismanagement. And before Mr. Saravanan jumps in, I don't blame his government. any government in Tamil Nadu, AIADMK, DMK, they have run Avin into the ground. So that is why they are not in a position to face any competition. Forget it from private sector. Competition, may mean other things. I think you will understand what I'm saying. But when it is another cooperative, they don't want that competition.
No, so I don't get the logic of that. If the fear is that competition will eat up Avin cannot compete with Amul. Fact is that Avin is not able to compete with private players already in the market in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Saravanan. Like I said, only 14%. Saravanan, only once again.
India was run into the ground, Zaka, to help private airlines.
It's similar to the Air India example. Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, my point is, Saravanan, 85% of the milk market in Tamil Nadu is controlled by private players.
Yeah. Zaka, Avin is the most preferred milk brand for the middle class, the lower middle class and the poor people. So this is a healthy source of supply. And we are saying this is out to protect those consumers and the farmers. Today the Amul has decided that it will procure milk. Tomorrow it will say on the instructions of Mr. Amit Shah, no, we don't want to stay in the state of Tamil Nadu. We want to go ahead, go out. Then who has to take care? And milk is an essential commodity. Even if it is the duty of the government to ensure that there is a regular supply of milk, even a small problem there, small one-day disruption, it will make headlines. The government is so aware of that. That is the reason why we want to protect this allegation that Avin has been run to ground is baseless. If it has been run to ground from 1981 to 2023, the Avin would not have been able to supply milk at such a regular pace without any complaint. This is the biggest choice of nutrition. And now the only question is why all of a sudden Amul wants to eye the state of Tamil Nadu? Because they want to play dirty politics. Each and every angle.
Saranan, you're still not answering my question. I'll go to Vinod after that. But Saranan, my question is simple.
Yes.
Avin is not the number 1 player in Tamil Nadu. They are controlling nearly 15% of market. 85% of market is being controlled by private players.
Yes,
Avin is not able to compete with those private players. Forget about being able to compete with Amul.
That's what, Zaka, it's not a question of competition. I'm saying it's a question of it's a question of propriety. Please don't come near the people who we have nurtured. You are a behemoth. Don't try to do that. Don't try to take away. We now are farmers whom we have nurtured so long. There is a moral obligation to the entire state so that there will be the supply of milk will not have any problem. The Avin is protecting the farmers. We have a track record. 40 years we have been able to do that. Now somebody comes and walks away. Later, who will be held responsible?
Okay, Vinod Selvam, one of the examples that's being cited is what happened to milk and milk products in a country like Sri Lanka. There was such a severe disruption, and the point that the DMK is making is milk cannot be treated like any other commodity, like a car or a bike or whatever, because it's an essential commodity. If there is disruption, even the slightest disruption to milk supply, that causes serious pain to the life of ordinary people, particularly poor people. And therefore, it's the government's moral responsibility to ensure that there is no disruption to that supply. And they believe that Amul coming in and procuring will cause that disruption.
See, firstly, the DMK needs to understand that they don't own the farmers of Tamil Nadu, and they have done no good for the farmers of Tamil Nadu. If they have done any good, they should have at least made the payments digitalized and made sure the money goes to them directly, which I had already mentioned about. So nothing good has ever come out of DMK to the farmers of the state. Now, Amul coming in or any new player coming in, it is only going to increase the procurement. You know, there's so much milk, there's almost about 244 lakh liters of milk being produced in the state. We are very surplus in terms of milk production. We have seen several instances where milk is being poured on the road because of poor procurement by Avin. So when a new player comes in, a player with a larger market...
Why is Amul being pushed? In Karnataka also you are pushing Amul. In Tamil Nadu also you are pushing Amul. Amul is not the only big milk cooperative in this country,
I want to see Avin. No. I want to see Avin in Kerala. I want to see Avin in Gujarat. I would like to see a product of my state all over. Avin can start supplying and making products and sell them in Singapore and Malaysia. No one is stopping Avin from doing that. So instead of actually giving attention on developing Avin and making sure that we have a larger market, Let's take a small example. What did you do when the 2021 Diwali festival came, when there was a tender being floated? The tender of procuring sweets was not given to Arvind by the state government. It was only after the BJP made a halabulla, only after BJP objected severely, was the tender cancelled from being given to a private player and shifted to Arvind.
Okay.
Similarly, when the health mix for pregnant women was to be introduced, it was not given to Arvind. It was given to a private player. Again, BJP had to step in and protest. So you have not done anything to grow Arvind in the state.
How do you see this story playing itself out? Because this has now been made political. The Chief Minister has written to the Home Minister. The BJP has responded. So, Sumant, how does this get resolved politically? In Karnataka, of course, because it was in the heat of the campaign, there was a decision to recalibrate. In the case of Arvind versus Amul, how do you see this ending?
No, this is tokenism, Zaka. The relationship between the first family of our state and the BJP High Command is quite excellent, as everyone would probably have figured out by now. So this is tokenism. This is just to sort of relieve some of the pressure. The minister in charge of dairy development has had to be replaced about 3-4 weeks ago because of allegations of mismanagement at Arvind. So I think that this is to say that, look, we are the protectors of our state rights in terms of protecting the dairy farmers of our state and so on. But if push comes to shove, I think Amul will have its way. I don't see any issues with that. And I don't agree with this whole theory that Mr. Amit Shah has personally taken it upon himself to ensure that Amul destroys cooperatives of all other states. I mean, that seems pretty far-fetched and pretty, absurd. Without
Zaka,
evidence.
what happened in Karnataka? What happened in Karnataka?
No.
They pushed for
What
Amul.
happened in Karnataka?
BJP pushed for Amul. Why this gentleman here from the BJP is not supporting Arvind? He is supporting Gujarati milk.
No, he is supporting Arvind, but Saravanan, one final word.
Asking you to improve your production, make your market bigger. You don't do that. You open a stall in Kerala, you open a stall in Gujarat. Why are you not developing Arvind?
Amul is already selling. Saravanan, Amul is already selling ice cream and butter and sweets in Tamil Nadu. That's not a problem. That's okay. They're already selling butter and sweets and ice cream in Tamil Nadu. That's okay. That's fine. You don't have a problem with that.
See, that is why I made it very clear, Zaka. We are worried about the farmers. We are worried about the supply chain. We are worried about the security. Tomorrow, to create an artificial problem, we don't want Amul just pulling out. We are not going to procure this. This has got larger ramifications. This is not as
I have to wrap up. Let's see how the story plays out. Like I said, I think there are two disingenuous sort of arguments being made here. We saw this during Nandini versus Amul as well in Karnataka, that if a product is selling 5 to 6 rupees cheaper in the market, what is the compelling reason for anyone to buy an essential commodity, that too, at 5 to 6 rupees more premium? That's number one. And number two, if the products of that brand are already in existence, then it makes no sense whatsoever to say that we have a problem with procurement. And the more the players there are in procuring, the better the farmers get a rate. But we'll see how this story plays out politically. Finally, after a technical glitch that delayed the start by 25 minutes or so, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced on Twitter, its audio platform Spaces, that he is going to be running for president in 2024. He now sets up a clash with the current Republican primary frontrunner, former President Donald Trump. DeSantis, in his opening address, painted a dark picture of the country, saying that it's going in the wrong direction under Biden and urged Republicans to get behind him. DeSantis' decision to effectively share a stage with Elon Musk, who purchased Twitter last year, was an unusual choice for a presidential aspirant. It spoke to his desire to win over right-wing activists who are increasingly prevalent on Twitter as well as other right-wing sites. But the technical failure at the top of the planned conversation set off a wave of mockery from his rivals. CNN has the latest.
Do you go with the crowd, or do you look at the data yourself and cut against the grain? And I chose to do the latter.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' attempt to declare his candidacy for president in a unique way, with Twitter owner Elon Musk on Twitter Spaces, an audio-only platform, plagued by technical issues at the start.
So they just keep crashing, huh? Yeah, I think we've got just a massive number of people online, so it's servers are straining somewhat.
But server issues caused the rollout to be plagued with problems, with Team DeSantis tweeting, quote, It seems we broke the internet with so much excitement. While you're waiting, donate now.
We must look forward, not backwards. We need the courage to lead, and we must have the strength to win.
DeSantis also asked about the NAACP issuing a travel advisory against his state, claiming Florida is not safe for minorities to visit.
Claiming that Florida is unsafe is a total farce. I mean, are you kidding me?
Wednesday's Twitter event, the latest move in DeSantis' presidential campaign rollout. He filed paperwork earlier Wednesday with the Federal Election Commission. On Tuesday, DeSantis' wife, Casey, tweeted a hype video encouraging supporters to sign up for campaign updates.
America has been worth it every single time.
DeSantis jumps in the Republican primary following months of speculation about the Florida governor's political future, fueled by a national book tour and visits to key early nominating states.
I have only begun to fight.
As the Republican primary fight intensifies, a new CNN poll shows former President Donald Trump leading the GOP field with roughly double the support of DeSantis and no other candidate in double figures. But the survey also finds the Republican field to be far from settled. More than 8 in 10 of those polled said they'd either support or say they're open to considering either Trump or DeSantis.
We have to reject the culture of losing that has infected our party in recent years. We have no more time for excuses.
DeSantis and Trump have appeared to be on a collision course for months, with the former president launching repeated attacks against the Florida governor.
DeSantis is very low and crashing. He's crashing and burning.
But DeSantis has been intentional in not directly attacking Trump, instead using his speeches around the country to draw contrast.
I don't have time for drama. I don't have time for palace intrigue. I want to make sure that we're executing the agenda. And you know what's happened over the last 4 years? We don't have leaks. We don't have drama. All we do is get the job done day after day.